What's up everyone? Today we have a FS110R made by Stihl that has a broken shaft. I know, keep it down. So we have a brand new one. It's about $50. I got it from my local Stihl dealer and we're going to be replacing it. There's a couple things of note on this machine, on this shaft. There is a hole here, and if you look, there's a hole right there. So there is a direction on this machine, and that one with the sticker goes out. Pretty easy, self-explanatory. So you don't want to put it in the wrong way. I don't suspect it to be too much of an issue, but you never know. There's a couple things we do need to take out of it. There is a shaft in the center we need to take out, but the rest of it I think is pretty much garbage. Obviously the handles and head and all that we need to take off, but the shaft itself, it doesn't come with the interior little rod. So we need to take it off. First thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen the handle. There are recessed screws. Probably easier from the other side. We'll do that later. And there, that's going to loosen the handle. In addition, we do need to loosen the clamp, which is in here, also from the other side. And at that point, the head will come off. However you want to do it, I'm going to take the engine off first. Actually, no, I'm going to take off the head first. Those are just two screws and it comes right out. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, and then we'll tackle the handle and the machine together. And to avoid having you hear the impact unnecessarily, it was just, like I said, two screws and the whole thing literally just slides right off. It's not difficult whatsoever, so no worries there. One would think this is a fairly clean procedure. It really isn't. There's going to be grease involved eventually. Like I said, two recessed screws. You don't have to take them out, just loosen. I contacted my local Stihl dealer, and like I said, it was like 50 bucks. We're using a T27. They didn't have it in stock, so I had to wait a few days, but yeah. In here, there's a clamp we need to loosen. Also, just loosen, we don't need to remove it. You can if you want, it just would rather not lose any screws if we don't have to. Now, everything should just come right out. It's coming out in pieces. That's okay. Now, I'm not going to say you shouldn't weld this. It is aluminum. The problem is it's not very good aluminum. And it is exceptionally difficult to weld this type of thing. I have TIG welded it before. I very well might try again because this is like I said, a $50 part. And in the future, it could be nice to have a backup. This person was in a hurry, and unfortunately, I did not have a backup. So, now, we're going to want to take the handle off the old broken shaft. I've already loosened this one. Luckily, this is the one-time Stihl uses the same size everything, T27. So this should hopefully slide, and it does. Very good. It's being a little difficult, but whatever. Let's take this off. It just comes right out eventually. There we go. We're going to put that on the new one. We'll put that on first. In fact, let's just do that now. I don't 100% know the final location just yet, but I'm going to spend a little time and taking off the handle. Due to the fact I don't know their final resting positions, I didn't tighten a single thing down yet. So, now, we simply insert, there we go, it should just bottom out, there we are. So now that we know the more final resting positions, I'm going to tighten everything up real nice, and then I'll bring it back. We'll do the last 2 steps. Word of caution: when tightening this, there's a little clamp in there. There's 2 types of clamps. There's like a pressed metal type of clamp. In my opinion, it's a little better for longevity, but there's also like a cast aluminum clamp. That thing loves to break. And if it breaks, it's not easy, at least where I live, to find a replacement. You can, obviously, but it's usually not available when you need it. So you end up having to order it, and just a giant pain. I apologize if there's noise in the background. My neighbors are getting a tree removed. So try not to do that. So that would be bad. Apparently there's a nut on the bottom of that. So I need to tighten the handle, and then we'll come back and finish. This next part is going to require you to get a couple towels, because it is going to be greasy. So you can add additional grease. In fact, I did on the other end. But pull out the shaft. It comes out pretty easily. And once you're done, you simply insert it into the new one. Now, let me show you the important part about this. When you're doing this, you have to make sure it actually goes inside of the clutch. There we go. Oops. I'm spinning it. And if you can see over there, the clutch drum is spinning as well. So we have it pretty much taken care of. If you don't do that, it will stick out too far, and we put your head on, it won't work. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the head on, add a little more grease to this end, and then we should be good to go. So I spent about 30 seconds kind of finalizing it, but I shoved it on there, it didn't quite work. Then I kind of moved it around, moved the head around, because inside there, the end of that center shaft is a square. Well, there's a square carved out into it, and the rest of it's a circular, circular. But it needs to fit in there specifically. So now, when I didn't have it in there before, it's just kind of sitting on the top. And when you shove it in further, eventually, once it gets aligned, you can move the head. And if you look over there, the clutch drum is also spinning. So we are good to go. I'm going to go ahead and get this tightened up, and then we'll give this a pull and make sure everything is nice and done. Here we go. Everything's tight. Give it a couple primes. Looks like that primer bulb is actually not doing too well. Perfect. Now, obviously I didn't cut grass or anything with him and do that later, but shaft is done. If it wasn't spinning, either we didn't get it in the clutch drum, which I doubt because we saw it, or we saw the clutch drum spin when I spin the other end of it, or likely not, you just didn't have the head in right. Or you didn't notice that either one of them's egged out, or the line could be damaged too, don't know. But if it's just a broken shaft, this is what we have to do. I'm going to go ahead and leave you at that. Follow me on Instagram at SmallEngine101. If you like what you see, keep watching. Definitely subscribe. If this helped you out, put a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. And I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good rest of your evening.